Hello. Thank you for joining this recorded workshop for the proposed Anderson Road Chavez Elementary School Improvements Project, a partnership between the City of Davis and Davis Joint Unified School District in preparation for an upcoming grant funding opportunity. For background, my name is Brian Abinat, Senior Transportation Planner with the City of Davis. Accompanying this presentation are Adrian Engel and Greg Behrens with Fair & Peers, who's assisting the City on this project for design and traffic analysis. This workshop is organized into four primary components. First, I'll provide background and historical context on this project. Adrian and Greg will then share the safety and design changes under consideration and traffic circulation and modeling results. After that, I'll share immediate next steps and the process that will follow if awarded funding. Finally, at the conclusion, you'll answer a brief survey to share your thoughts on the project. Let's first start with some background. The project purpose is to improve overall safety and comfort by reducing conflicts between cars, bikes, pedestrians, and buses, and improving the infrastructure design. Because many transportation and safety challenges exist at Chavez Elementary School and Rutgers Drive, we are proposing a boundary between Villanova Drive and Amherst Drive. Extending the project beyond these boundaries will need to wait until a future phase due to costs. Why are we proposing this now? First, this corridor has a long history of safety concerns from neighborhood residents and parents of school children. Second, applications for competitive biennial regional grant funds are due in November. These funding cycles are important because they leverage almost $9 in federal funds for every dollar of local funds, and any funding we don't receive will be given to other local agencies in the Sacramento region. Third, both the school district and the city have a joint interest in improving corridor conditions, particularly on the proposed segment. Over the past several years, many planning efforts have occurred for the Anderson Road corridor. In 2014, the city completed a walk-bike audit report which recommended specific walking and bicycling safety improvements near elementary and junior high schools, including Chavez Elementary School. In 2015, the city submitted a grant application to design and construct safety improvements but was not selected for funding. To improve grant competitiveness, in 2018, the city conducted a dedicated planning and outreach process with broader engagement to establish a long-term corridor vision. Some of the key issues included driver speeds that are too fast, inadequate space at the school for pickup and drop-off, jaywalking that occurs at certain locations, and leapfrogging between bicycles and buses, and conflicts with cars crossing the bike lane for school drop-off and pickup. And also the corridor was noted as an overall unpleasant experience. The vision established through the process was to create a more comfortable, inviting corridor for all users, to slow driver speeds and create safe, visible crosswalks and pedestrian and bicycling zones. Strategic design changes can help accomplish this vision while maintaining acceptable vehicle flow. Today, we are partnering with the school district to build upon prior efforts toward a constructible first phase between Villanova Drive and Amherst Drive. Adrian Engel and Greg Behrens with Fair & Peers will now explain the proposed improvements, the purpose they serve for different users, as well as potential effects on vehicles.
Two design concepts have been prepared for the Phase 1 project. The two concepts share similar characteristics with the major differences at the school frontage and how school pickups and drop-offs are accommodated. Beginning at the northern end of the project area, the design concepts would shift the southbound lane merge from south of Villanova Drive north towards the Radcliffe Drive. Shifting the lane merge would reduce the number of conflicts for people crossing Anderson Road at Villanova Drive traffic signal and minimize the number of vehicles that accelerate into the school zone. The additional space would allow for the inclusion of buffered bicycle lanes. Due to the high number of residential driveways, separated bike lanes were considered but not recommended at this time for most of the corridor. Low-cost protected intersection treatments are being proposed at the Villanova Drive and Anderson Road intersection to slow turning vehicles and create safer crossings for people walking or riding bicycles. Besides the buffered bike lanes, bus boarding islands are being considered at the two bus stops near the Villanova Drive intersection. Bicycles would be routed to the outside of the boarding islands to minimize the conflicts between people riding bicycles and buses entering and leaving each stop. Travel lanes are recommended to be 11 feet wide to accommodate the frequent transit along the corridor, and bike lane widths vary along the corridor from 7 feet behind the bus boarding island to 8 feet adjacent to on-street parking. South of Villanova Drive, the concepts differ on the southbound approach to Rutgers Drive. In concept number 1, the Rutgers Drive intersection remains a T intersection to the east. A southbound to eastbound left turn pocket is maintained for operational efficiency and safety. Pedestrian refuge islands would be added to the Rutgers Drive intersection to facilitate shorter and safer crossings for parents and children walking or bicycling to school. The existing bicycle parking for the school would remain near the intersection on school property. The focus of concept number 1 is to install a parking separated bikeway on the school frontage south of Rutgers Drive to eliminate the frequent conflicts between the people riding bicycles, through traffic, including large transit vehicles, and the cars pulling to and from the school frontage for student pickup and drop-off. The parking lane would be 8 feet wide with 3-foot door zone buffers on both sides of the vehicle. The proposed separated bikeway would be 7 feet wide adjacent to the curb. The primary conflict for people riding bicycles with concept number 1 will be between the parents and kids walking between the parked cars and school site, which will result in fewer serious crashes compared to the existing condition. A buffered bike lane and curbside parking would be included on the east side of Anderson Road near the existing houses. Concept number 2 would shift the school pickup and drop-off operations onto the school site. This would be accommodated by adding a 4th leg onto the Rutgers Drive intersection to access the school parking lot. A northbound left turn pocket and a southbound right turn lane would be added to the Rutgers intersection. A new bicycle signal would also be added to minimize conflicts between southbound bicycles and turning vehicles. Bike parking would need to be relocated to another location on campus. The parking lot would be converted to one-way, entering at the north and exiting at the southern driveway. Parking would be maintained in the parking lot adjacent to Anderson Drive, but reduced overall on campus to create a larger drop-off zone. To offset the parking loss, on-street parking along the school frontage would be permit only for faculty and staff. The sidewalk along Anderson Road would be widened to 10 feet to create a more welcoming pedestrian environment and create access for the ADA parking stalls. The 7-foot wide separated bikeway would remain, but the driver's side door zone buffer would be reduced to accommodate the addition of the northbound left turn pocket. The other elements of concept number 2 are consistent with concept number 1. A key component of the project is the treatment of the Rutgers Drive and Anderson Road intersection. The separated bikeways, new bicycle signal, and protected intersection features would enable people riding bicycles to navigate the segment of Anderson Road with less vehicle conflicts. The enhanced crosswalk, pedestrian refuge, and pedestrian signal phases make it easier for people, especially young children, to cross the street. Turn lanes and changes to the school access in concept number 2 improve vehicular access, especially during levels of high activity at the start and end of each school day.
The project team developed a simulation model to analyze the effects of the 2 design concepts on multimodal traffic operations. As shown in the image on the right, the simulation model accounts for vehicle, bus, bicycle, and pedestrian volumes, as well as vehicles entering and exiting the school parking and loading areas. During the morning rush hour, nearly 150 bicyclists and over 100 vehicles cross paths in the existing school curbside loading area. Both design concepts would substantially reduce these conflicts by eliminating the need for vehicles to weave in and out of the bike lane as they pull to and from the curbside loading area. Moreover, vehicles waiting to pull to the curb during busy time periods would no longer be able to block the bike lane, which currently causes some bicyclists to pull into adjacent vehicle traffic in order to avoid stopped vehicles. While the concepts do include modifications to vehicle travel lanes and traffic signals on Anderson Road, both concepts would have a minor effect on peak hour vehicle delay at intersections near the school frontage. All intersections within the project area would continue to operate well within acceptable levels of service, including Villanova Drive, Rutgers Drive, and Amherst Drive. Concept number 2 would provide additional operational benefit by eliminating stop and go traffic on southbound Anderson Road related to the curbside loading area.
Looking ahead, a few key milestones must occur to bring this project to fruition. First, stay tuned for future announcements of an upcoming live virtual workshop where you can learn how your input from this workshop influenced project design and ask city staff and consultants questions in real time. Second, the city will submit the grant application in November. If the project is awarded funding, the city will initiate final design once funding is allocated. Importantly, this will involve another round of community outreach, so more opportunities for your input are forthcoming. If the final design process proceeds smoothly, the project could begin construction as soon as summer of 2022. Before you leave, please give us your feedback on this project by taking the survey, which you can find by returning to the project website. Thank you for viewing this workshop, and we look forward to receiving your feedback.